everyone, and welcome back to the Ramcast. I am the host for this episode, Alex Burke, along with fellow
Kevin.
And these are our lovely guests, including our own ex-host.
I'm still a host, but sure. I'm Savannah, if that's not obvious.
I'm Fisher Davis.
Devin McConaughey.
Jackson Snodsmith.
And this is the Ramcast, Working Students Edition. Where do you work?
I work at Ross.
I work at a seasoning shop on the square downtown called Kingdom Seasoning.
I work at the high school during the summer for tech services.
I work at AMC, the movie theater.
How often do you guys have to change your schedule to fit around your jobs?
Okay, depends. So in November and December, we have what's called blackout months. And basically, we can't have consecutive days out. So you can't get like the whole Christmas break that you're out for school like normal. I can only get like one day, and then I can't get the next day. So like Christmas and Christmas Eve, I have to choose between one of those 2 days.
For me, I play football and I run track, so my schedule is mainly just open on the weekends. And with my boss, I've worked out to where I can just come in on the weekends and work all day. So, yeah.
I don't ever have to change my schedule.
Well, I'm constantly changing my schedule. The summer, it's pretty well set. I don't usually have to change much, but during the school year, I'm changing my availability weekly, and it's about done.
Well, are there really any benefits to working while also going to school?
Definitely. At least for me there is, because I get a sense of responsibility of being more mature and being kind of an adult. I learned really, really good soft and hard skills. And also, I get money. So like...
I would say just mainly money for gas to get to school, because gas is expensive now. So my parents won't lend me money anymore. I have to use that up, so gas money.
Even though I don't work during the school year, working for tech services definitely taught me a lot about the school itself and how to fix many of the problems while the teachers are not able to fix them with all the tech because they are not qualified to do so, and they break it very often.
Well, I'd say if you happen to wreck your car and you get ticketed, probably right around $300, having that money to fall back on really helps.
He's got a point. No, he's right.
How much does it cost to fix?
14 grand.
Oh.
How much do you get paid?
Not
That's
enough.
a perfect question.
Would we all agree not enough?
No.
Not enough.
I mean, for what I do, I guess it's enough. I get paid bi-weekly, so whenever I get my check, it's 2 weeks worth of work. So I get like $300 all at once instead of like just a weekly of like that much that I get.
I get paid at the end of the month, so I gotta make my check last. And it's usually not that much, so yeah.
Summer job pays decent, $12 an hour.
I got $12 an hour as well, but a 5-hour shift and getting paid bi-weekly, $63 paycheck's not really kind of.
What are some other downsides to having a job?
The stress. Oh, the stress.
See, I don't have stress with mine. I literally just sit in air conditioning.
Well, I have air conditioning, but I also have, at least for Ross, for me, I made it so that I could be able to work in any department there. So stock, fitting room, cashier, sales floor, all of the above, basically I can work. And I've been trained in most of them, but mine's very stressful sometimes because they'll work me odd times. So like, it's not a consistent weekly schedule for me. And even then, if it was, we only get this week's schedule and next week's schedule, and the next week isn't set up or made for any of us to really look at until Tuesday. So it's kind of a mismatch of my schedule being very weird. Like personally, today is Wednesday, and I have my, I can't think of it. Whenever you can ask to not be worked on certain days, what's it called again?
Eve?
Not available.
I guess. I get like a
all.
specific, I made it set specifically only on Wednesdays I will not be able to work. Availability, that's it.
Yeah.
I made my availability so only I don't work on Wednesdays for AV Club. But since Black Friday, which was this Friday, until Tuesday, I was working. And one of those shifts was a 7+ hour shift. Now all the adults are like, oh, that's not much. It's a lot for a teenage girl who's having heartburn consistently and having really bad back problems. It's a lot. Along with junior year or AP classes or dual credit classes that are like extremely hard. It's a lot, but it does have good rewards, so.
For mine, I would just say the only downside is I don't get to work more. Because my job's pretty easy. Like, my boss will bring me food, too. Like, I'll get free lunch sometimes. So, yeah, the only downside is I don't get to work as much as I wish I could. Well,
Definitely.
go ahead.
Definitely wish I could have put more hours into the summer. It's very easy most of the time, except for this last summer. We had to work a whole 2 weeks overtime, including weekends, to get the school ready. Right before school, I did not get a break. That was the only bad part.
Well, I can say the downside is it does get, even though, I don't really work much, that Sunday can be pretty stressful, especially when you're dealing with some, not Mount Vernon's finest, I will tell you that. But, being like an usher when you're just sweeping the theaters after the show, like, it's pretty relaxed, but dealing with a lot of people from Mount Vernon, it's not really
We don't have too many Mount Vernon's finest.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I can agree with you there because sometimes I will see, I've seen this so many times and it enrages me, but I'll just see a parent with their little toddler in the seat and it is eating the box of a toy and I'm like, what is wrong with your child? Oh, he does this all the time. We're gonna buy it anyway. Okay, I don't care. Why is he eating a box?
Yeah, that child then shows up to the movie theater, they throw up in the theater, and then they don't tell anybody.
Exactly. Or, I'm clearly doing my job, and we have this thing called a Z-Rack, and we put clothing on it to take it out to the sales floor. A lady decides, you know what, instead of giving my clothes that I don't want to purchase, while I'm giving the cashier the clothes that I do want to buy, I'm going to hang it on this random rack. That is something that infuriates me to the next level because I'm doing my job. I'm getting paid to do this. You're not.
Well, let's get off all that negativity and what's the funniest thing that you've seen while on the job?
I cannot speak.
I don't know where to start.
I'm not allowed to speak.
Why not?
For high school reasons, for legal reasons.
I don't know.
I plead the fifth.
No, you definitely have some stories.
You definitely got some, but AFC has said, let me put a lock and key over that.
They probably don't weigh the same much.
The only one I can think of off the top of my head, it's funny now, but it was not funny in the moment kind of thing. But I'm having a very nice lunch, and our lunches are off the clock for 30 minutes. They're great. But I'm sitting there, I'm about to dig into a nice sandwich my mom made me, and one of my coworkers from the stockroom just comes in, mouth bloody, teeth bloody, and she just smiles at me like, hi, what's up? And I'm like, is there code for this? Like, what are we supposed to do? Like, both of our managers were just in the next room in the office, and they had no clue, because I could hear a couple seconds later, she walked in that room, and I just heard 2 loud gasps. It's funny now, but it was not funny in the moment, It's one of those things where it's like, man, that's concerning, but it's funny.
My job's super boring. Nothing really happens there. I mean, we sell spices, so it's a lot of old people coming in. But
I have one thing that I can talk about a little bit.
it's
Can you imagine the theater floor? Above it, there's smoke hatches. Never tested until last year, since school's still tested it. You have to climb on the roof to close it. So it's funny seeing someone jump on it from up there while you're on the catwalks. It's a great angle.
Wait, why can't you say stuff that happened here?
It's cool.
Yeah, we're in the building.
That's fine.
The teachers know. They know our names. They know our addresses.
What if we just blur his face and give him Can you do like one of those things like interrogations that do a different voice?
Devin, instead of saying Devin McConaughey underneath him, it just is blurred out and it's
Stupid faculty.
They
It
put
just
him-
says faculty.
to put him with a mosaic over just his eyes.
The little censor bar.
Yeah.
Just start talking about
Eyes.
your voice.
Unnamed student.
How much harder is schoolwork while you're working?
I can go for it. As a senior, I haven't really no work at school because I took easy classes this year because, I mean, it's senior year, so. So really, I mean, it's not stressful at all. Like, schoolwork and work don't come together for me at all. But I mean, that's different for everyone, so.
I work on the weekends, and so typically when I'm working Sunday night, and I push things back until
Procrastination.
yeah. It can get a little stressful, early in the week, but it's most of my teachers are pretty lax on work, so.
For me, it is kind of stressful depending on which class I'm really struggling in. Personally, I'm taking a class called AP Language and Composition, and it's kind of stressful whenever you have 5 different assignments over Thanksgiving break, and you only get like 4 days before you work to get it all sorted out and make sure you got everything together while going to Thanksgiving, and then going to Thanksgiving, and then working Black Friday, and then working 7 hours, and then going to school the next day, and working 5 hours, and then working 4 hours again. It is a little stressful, but most of my teachers are very nice, actually, and they're very kind enough to do extensions and such for some students who they know struggle with work.
Nothing.
Because you work in the summer. We get it.
So, do you have a real reason to work, or you just work for fun?
My parents made me get a job, so.
Said, get out of the nest.
Experience.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good one too, but like.
I'm right in the same boat. I needed a little bit of money, and my dad made me get a job, so I was supposed to get a job last summer, but I got out of that. This year, it's actually worked in my favor, so.
For me, it is fun, but not on the days where I get stressed or the weeks that I become stressed because of my job. Because I actually really enjoy my coworkers. Like, most of my coworkers are actually my age. Like, obviously there's the ones that have been there for a while who are like grown adults or have their own kids. But some of them are actually like my age, or they go to a different high school. I actually made a friendship back with I made friends with somebody who I had made friends with like 6 years prior at a random church camp that I went to. I will never be going again, by the way. I just do not like being outside in the woods with no bars, personally. It's just not my thing. But I made friends with them again, and I love working with them, and I love the company, and I love getting paid because I feel responsibility by doing that.
When is the customer wrong?
When it comes to prices.
Amen.
If it's not a sale, it's not negotiable, whatever. Yeah.
Just because there's no tag
Doesn't mean you get
it's
to pick
free.
your price.
Doesn't mean it's free.
Correct.
Or just because I can't scan doesn't mean it's free. It means give me a second, our computers suck.
Almost any time anything is ordered online, they'll come in, I thought there was a show at 12:30. No, it's at 3. And the customer's not always right. That's probably what I've learned most from working.
What about you, summer job boy?
Well, not necessarily customers, but definitely the students whenever they think that they can turn in their Chromebooks 2 months late.
Some people just keep them.
Or whenever they're completely broken.
Yeah.
Stuff happens, okay?
He was in half.
One of my
Oh
friends is.
my
One of my
God.
friends is now.
Oh my god.
How to explain that one?
Okay,
Start through theirs.
on to the next one. Have you seen the elusive Karen in the wild?
Not on my job, no.
No.
Because it's like,
Oh.
I mean,
Oh.
it's old people.
Hey, I really want to answer this. Can I answer this one?
Sure.
And bring in the new host, an actual,
No, I'm just.
or not a host, guest, someone who actually works
when
here.
I read. Hey. Hi. When I read this question, I had this story I want to tell. It's funny. Kevin, Mike. All right. So I was the assistant manager at this grocery store when I was, I think, like maybe a senior in high school. And I had this Karen, I think her name was Karen, she come in one day and she's all mad. And she's like, I want to show you something. And we went over to the magazine racks. So, magazines, this was in the 90s, so magazines were thing like. And she started pointing at all these exercise magazines. And she's like, look at those people and their naughty, filthy bodies. And they were like flexing, and there were men and there were women. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I started like flipping all the magazines around, like hiding them. And I'm like, we have to hide these. How did these get on the shelves? And then I started, basically making a big deal about it, pretending like I really cared. And then I was like, I'm going to call the home office, ma'am. As soon as I get back, I'm going to call it anyway. That's my story.
Oh my god.
That actually reminds
Filthy
me.
magazine.
I did have
Very
one at my
filthy
old
magazine.
job.
Alright.
So I used to deliver appliances like fridges, ranges, and all that stuff. And it was like a 2-hour drive to this place. And we get there, and it's like this sweet little old lady. But turns out she wasn't sweet. But we like unbox the fridge and everything, and then she goes, "This isn't the right one." So, but like we had the receipt and everything, and it was the right one. And she just started throwing a fit. So she made us drive back 2 hours, get a different fridge and bring it back. So it was like a 4-hour, like just 8 hours of driving. It was just miserable.
I mean, the closest one I have to that is, this is gonna be a little difficult to explain, but I see a lot of Karens, but they don't act like Karens. They just have that same paint by numbers hair and the little short haircut and the big thick glasses on their head that they forget are on there, so they're like that all the time. Yeah, I see a lot of them, but they don't ever act like a Karen. But however, one of my managers, and I'm not going to be using names, one of my managers had came up to me one night, and he seriously, dead serious, he's like, "Hey, I need to tell you something." He whispered because, it's kind of sad and serious. He's like, "There's this woman who's gonna try and get every penny she can out of us, okay? So if she finds even the smallest rip on a shirt, she's gonna want 10% off every single shirt. So just be aware that she's in here and her kids are little demons, okay?" And so he walked away, and 10 minutes go by, the line fills up, I call for backup, he is my backup. And he just so coincidentally happened to have to be the cashier for her. And I just sat there I'm just glad to have to deal with her, man, because her children were little demons. Okay, I don't know about you, but I do not feel comfortable with a 6-year-old running from the cashiers all the way down to women's shoes, then bringing him over and then throwing him around and then just getting everywhere. And I'm like, guys, this is not Chuck E. Cheese. I don't know what you thought this was, but this is not Ronald McDonald's Playhouse. This is ROSS, Ross. We do not get paid enough here to take care of your children or their needs or anything. That is your job as their adult. Anybody else?
I don't know if I've dealt with what most would consider a Karen. I've dealt with characters. Tuesday nights, rewards members get, half off of everything. So that drags in not only
Mount Vernon's finest.
not only just the worst of the worst sometimes. And like I said, I don't think I've ever had to deal with a Karen, but I've dealt with many characters who are very passive aggressive, and they'll swear every other sentence in their word, or every other word in their sentences, and it's like the customer's not always right. And so those people that are way off on the times that their movie starts, Tuesdays are when they truly come out of their shells.
I think I have another one.
I think
there you
one
go.
is enough.
Okay.
Now, before we head on to our next segment, I just want to say that you retail workers, I have my respect. It must just be so hard doing all that work just for so little money and all that. But now it's time for the next segment. Let's go through time and around the globe with our new history segment.
Greetings. I am James Norman Tolley, and today I will take you to the world of what could have been. Welcome to the world of alternate history. Sound good? Today I'll be asking all of you a very simple question. We will be traveling back to the Second World War. Now, I want your honest answers on what could have happened if the Soviets joined the Axis.
Didn't they? I mean, they were part of the Axis at the beginning before Hitler invaded Russia.
No, they only had a non-aggression pact.
I mean, they both invaded Poland, right?
No.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they both invaded Poland.
Okay,
Okay,
well-
was it 50-50?
Okay, well, yeah, they invaded Poland, but then Germany invaded Russia.
Yeah, and that was when Hitler betrayed them.
Yes, but what if Hitler didn't betray them?
Okay. Didn't betray.
I don't think they know what they're doing.
The Holocaust still would have happened.
That's true.
That's my answer. Can you ask us an easier question?
Sure. Here's one. What if the South won the Civil War? How's that for easy?
You're gonna get us in trouble for.
I don't think we're legally allowed to say anything.
I will screw legality.
Never mind. I'm just.
Don't worry, I'm
I got
floundering
college. I'm
too.
not gonna say anything.
Beats me.
I'm floundering as well.
Because like they wanted slavery, so why would you want them to win?
No, it's just a what if question.
But what if they didn't win?
They didn't
win.
I know
Exactly.
Let's just talk about why.
Then
they
that's
didn't
not a
win.
what if.
This is an alternate history
Okay.
segment.
Okay.
What did you not get about that?
Our first segment is going swimmingly.
Wait, hold on. Can Jackson answer this one?
Go Jackson answer.
What if the South won the Civil War?
Like, what are you saying?
We probably still have
Yeah,
slavery.
slavery was great.
Like that's not good.
Like,
No.
what would you have said?
I mean,
Oh yeah,
really the
slavery
only-
would have just been like everywhere. It'd have been booming for everyone.
To be honest,
We
slavery
don't
probably
condone that.
Still would have died out as it mostly is now.
Slavery would have been strangled out because none of the European powers wanted to trade with the slave nation.
Well, how about we head on to our final segment?
This is the final segment.
I think it's time to have a bit of a word from our sponsor.
Oh, for God's sake.
That whole last segment right there
It's
was
a brick!
100%.
Get the brick out of here!
He's not done with the segment.
That whole segment right there was 100% sponsored by our sponsor, Brick.
How can a brick be a sponsor?
Brick Incorporated is.
Can we hold this?
You can hold Brick. Brick is a hefty giant man with it's only $5.99 on brickinc.com. Not actually, don't go to that website. I don't know if that's the actual website. But you can buy
James to be sponsored by a break.
Wait, James, what was your favorite war?
Okay. I think.
No, that's a good question.
That is a really good question, actually.
World War One.
what
Okay,
reason?
I think.
World War One
I
was.
want to hear the answer to this.
Give him. He needs some.
Give him the mic. Give him the mic.
Not sure.
World War One was his favorite.
World War One is my favorite because it brought in so many new technologies, like the tank, the airplanes,
Chemicals,
what?
Chemicals.
mustard gas.
Chemical weapons.
Then least favorite war.
Least favorite war.
The Colombian Civil War?
Revolution.
What?
The Colombian Civil War.
My least favorite, actually, I've only studied all the big wars.
He likes every single one, guys.
He's a
There's
war
not a war. This
connoisseur.
man has never met a war he don't like.
He likes wars.
Oh my God, Colson.
I guess my least favorite war
Just look how he's standing. Dude.
would probably be the Second Korean War.
When was the first Korean War? When was the first? When was the first?
Okay, shut up for a second and let me explain.
Answer the question.
He's so funny.
Exclaims.
Okay, so there was the first Korean War that split Korea down the middle into what we know today, North and South.
Yeah.
There was a small little conflict somewhere during the Cold War that basically fizzled out into nothing.
Was that even
Then that's
war?
not a war, that's a conflict.
Yeah.
Was the Cold War a war?
No, it
Yes.
wasn't a war.
Okay, I think we've done enough talking about war. This was the Ramcast. With me as your host, probably not going to be one ever again, are
Co-host Kevin.
and are all of our lovely guests.
Savannah.
Fisher.
We gotta get James back up there one time. Take a bow.
And that was the Ramcast. Just take your bow.
Okay, I'm taking the bow!
Brick's taking his bow.
Yay!
All right.